Step right up, dummies, and listen to the stupidest sports show on earth with Rodney Newbold and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah. Well, hello, dummies, and welcome to episode number 113 of the stupidest sports show on earth. My name, as you all know, is Tim Killatrav Van Stratton, joined by Rodney Newpol on this Tuesday night, and we are back. Took a nice little break for Thanksgiving, enjoyed the holidays, but we've returned. We're gluttonous, and we're ready to talk some sports. So, Rodney, how are you?
Yeah, welcome back, man. It's been a while. But enjoyed the little holiday break, and as we get closer to the Christmas break, we may have some news to share about the show going forward. But we're still cementing those plans. But welcome back, and thanks for the introduction. Looking forward to it. And this is the time of year where it's just too damn cold outside. It's just too damn cold outside.
Yeah. We got hit with a bunch of snow. Hi, Mom. We got hit with a bunch of snow on Saturday. More yesterday. There's probably like 10 inches outside.
Yeah,
it's a lot. It's there you could tell a lot about a person based on how they talk about snow. And really, what it comes down to is the people who love snow and who are like, "Oh, winter," are always the ones who don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, they're the ones who don't have to do the shoveling, that don't have to scrape the car, that don't really have to do any of the horrible things that come with snow. So that's sort of where I'm at with it. I feel like every time I go outside, it just feels terrible. It's not going away anytime soon. So yippee. As soon as it hit December 1, we're like, snow everywhere.
Yeah, go outside and your skin hurts, like your face hurts from the cold air, and you know, anytime you drive, you have to be on pins and needles. Like, I've already been out 2 or 3 times with sketchy roads. It's like, come on, like this is kind of getting stupid. But yeah, it is cold and snowy, and here we are in the middle of Central Illinois.
What I was going to mention too with snow, I honestly. All right, cards on the table. I had a thought. I forgot the thought, and I was hoping it was going to come back to me, but it just didn't. It didn't, and that's okay.
It might later.
It's been about 2 weeks since we last did a show. I'm a little rusty. I apologize for that. Maybe it'll pop up. I don't know, but it hasn't been fun. But we're back. We're all right, and we got a lot to get to tonight. As you can see, we are getting views from YouTube, Twitter. Feel free to join the show, interact with us. We got a bunch to get to on episode 113. We'll start with the most recent news, which is about 3 hours ago or so, give or take. We got an updated bracket for the college football playoff. This is the last week that we get, projections and updates, because on Sunday we're going to get the real thing. We've made it to conference championships, and Rodney, this may stun you. But despite us now having 12 teams in the playoff, people are still arguing about who should be in and who should be out.
Yeah, right. And I mean, 13, 14, 15 all within the same kind of world with each other. And but you're right. Like, if we had a 16-team bracket, same thing would happen. Happens in the NCAA basketball. And I don't know where a stop is. I don't know if 12 is the right number or not. But I think they need to get rid of committees. That's what I would like. I would like to get rid of the committee.
I'm good with getting rid of committees. Really, let's have how many committees in anything, sports or otherwise, actually been successful and accomplished the goal of what they set out to do when they formed said committee?
Yeah.
Wasn't anything in life.
Yeah, no, not mostly, or mostly correct there. But why can't we, okay, so each power conference starts with 2 or 3 or whatever the number is, and two non-power conference, and then that's it. I don't know. Like, make the rules, whatever the rules are, we're gonna adjust. But this kind of like well, these guys might be in, these guys kind of are in, they're ahead of them. Because like the whole Notre Dame Miami thing, and we can get to that when
Yeah.
we do the bracket, but like if we just had like maybe some set rules, maybe this would be solved. But anyways, let's go ahead and go forward.
Well, in theory, you're right. In theory, there are set rules, and on the official college football playoff, I don't even know, website or whatever it is, but they lay out what they look for and what the determining factors are and how they set this up. And I can go and pull it up here because it's very fascinating. Because it seems like the committee doesn't follow their own rules. Because one of the things that gets that should be looked at is head-to-head record. And we've seen for a couple of years now that head-to-head record doesn't really mean as much as they say it should mean. But yeah, we'll get to it here. So no surprise at the top. Ohio State's number 1, Indiana's number 2, Georgia's number 3. Texas Tech has now moved up as the number 4 team in the nation. So that's your top 4. You good with that? Any complaints?
Yeah, I'm good with that. No, I think that's correct. We'll go over it again. Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, Texas Tech. Yeah, no, I'm good with that. I think that's the right 4. Yes.
So now you get to the teams, the 5 through 12 that are in that first round. So the top 4 are going to bye still. That hasn't changed. And what's changed from last year, as we had talked about previously, is that instead of just taking 4 conference champions, it's just 4 best teams. So now 5 through 12, you get Oregon. You get Ole Miss at 6. Again, no qualms there. Texas A&M, now 7. This is where it gets fun because then you get Oklahoma, Alabama at number 9. I don't think anyone's surprised there that Alabama. But if Alabama loses, then that opens the door. Number 10, Notre Dame. And then 11 and 12 as of right now. So 11 and 12 in the official rankings, 11 and 12 are BYU and Miami.
Yes.
However, those 2 spots in the bracket are technically reserved for conference champions. Miami's not even playing in the ACC championship.
Nope.
The ACC championship is unranked Duke, who's 7 and 5, against number 17 Virginia. So, and then BYU against Texas. So like BYU is sitting there. Like obviously, if BYU beats Texas Tech, they're for sure in.
Yeah, which means see a Notre Dame.
So I guess both of them would be. Well, then BYU would just get one of the conference championships.
Texas Tech's already in.
Yeah, I guess.
It is.
So.
I mean, Texas Tech's not going to fall. Yeah. Texas Tech's not going to fall all the way out. Like they're not going to fall 5 spots back because they lost in their conference championship to a ranked team.
So what happens then if Alabama loses to Georgia?
Yep.
Puts them at 3 losses, and let's say BYU wins. So BYU would get in, obviously. Texas Tech would still be in. Would Alabama fall out, but then Notre Dame would get an at-large bid still because Alabama would fall out and not Notre Dame? Because Notre Dame doesn't have a conference. Notre Dame's not playing anyone.
No, Notre Dame's not playing anyone. Haven't played anyone in like 6 weeks now.
Right. But the crazy thing is, so Notre Dame then would probably stay in. Alabama would fall out, and then there's Miami.
Yeah.
Who would still be out?
Yeah. I feel like Miami's boxed out. I guess the only scenario Miami could get in would be there's not a lot of scenarios Miami would get in because they can't. I don't know how you can justify putting them back ahead of Notre Dame. Although Miami beat Notre Dame head to head, I don't think there's any way Miami can get in.
Yeah.
There's not going to be 2 teams that fall out.
So that's the thing with Miami. So the real big controversy with the bracket is Miami being excluded right now because Miami beat Notre Dame head to head. I believe them and Notre Dame have had 4 common opponents,
Yeah.
and Miami has a larger margin of victory against 3 of those opponents.
Yeah.
And the only one that Notre Dame had a bigger win was against Syracuse. That's it.
Right.
So Miami has the head-to-head win. They have the larger margin of victory. Statistically, they're ranked higher in total offense, like all these different stats. But Notre Dame. Like, that's really all it is. But
Yeah.
Notre Dame. And Miami playing in a quote-unquote weak conference that is being decided by a very weak championship game with a team that's 7-5. How did Duke make it in? Explain the logic. This is what goes over my head a little bit with college football. How Duke ends up being the team that ends up playing in the conference championship. I don't understand that.
A whole bunch of tiebreaker scenarios, which included SMU losing in the final day. So are you telling me Duke, if they win Saturday, goes to the college football playoff?
See, that's the thing. So they didn't necessarily say ACC champion gets one of those spots. It's just 2 conference champions. So what it could be is, instead of Duke, it could be whoever wins the AAC between North Texas and Tulane, who are both actually ranked, and then assuming like James Madison wins the Sun Belt. So like it, and of course assuming that BYU doesn't win. So if BYU wins, that takes care of one of the spots. And then it's probably, it would be like Tulane. But
James Madison's having a good year for sure.
Or James Madison, yeah. But yeah, like but so if Virginia wins, they'll be in. And then that last conference championship will be either BYU if they win, or it'll be one of those smaller schools in a lesser conference.
Virginia's fairly garbage though.
Yeah. Oh, I know. But like, and that's the thing. Like the ACC, like it's a pretty bad conference this year, which hurts Miami. But I don't think anyone can sit here and say Miami isn't one of the 12 best schools in college football.
Correct. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. And then, looking at some of the matchups, if things held the way they are now, Notre Dame would get a rematch against Texas A&M, who they played week 2. I don't know. I feel like maybe they could arrange avoiding playing somebody you've already played in the first round, but they're not looking at doing that either. Alabama, Oklahoma conference matchup. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out, but you got some of these teams sitting at home and now you got, so like if you're Ohio State, do you care if you beat Indiana?
No. Why would you? Like Indiana and Ohio State, they're both undefeated.
Yeah.
There's really no advantage for either of them to win or lose.
No, the winner gets the one, but who cares?
Yeah, right. Who cares? So like, whether you're the 1 or the 2, and if Indiana loses, like, are they even going to fall past 2?
I wouldn't think so. Because of their body of work of all season. I mean, Georgia's not going to. I mean, maybe if Ohio State smokes Indiana and Georgia smokes Alabama, you could have an argument to say Georgia's 2, Indiana 3. But like,
but what's to stop Indiana and Ohio State from being like, hey, listen, like, we'll settle this in the playoff, right? Like, what are they getting out of going all out for this, other than just say, yeah, we won the Big Ten?
Yeah, which.
Because at this point, like care. Ohio State doesn't care. They're the defending national champion. Indiana might care a little bit to say we beat Ohio State, but then what happens if Indiana has this and then they lose in their first playoff game? Are they going to be like, our season was a success? No. So,
that's for sure, and really, So I can't say the same about Georgia, Alabama, because obviously Alabama should probably,
of course,
find a way to win. Now Georgia doesn't necessarily need to win, but they're probably looking at, let's try to knock Alabama out of this. And if you're Georgia, you got to be a little irritated. I believe Alabama's won the last couple in that rivalry, and so that's an interesting one. And then the Big 12 championship's a great one too, because BYU needs to win. So two of those three are big games. The Big 10 one is a good game, but I just, you're right. There's not a lot of meaning for that one.
So the games with the most implications. So obviously, of all the conference championship games, of all them, Indiana, Ohio State matters the least.
Yeah.
Which is great because it's the two top teams in the nation, undefeated teams. But it's the one that technically matters the least.
Yeah. Agreed.
What matters the most, I would say the two teams that obviously have the most relevance in terms of determining the bracket are going to be BYU, Texas Tech, and then Georgia, Alabama.
Yeah.
And especially BYU, Texas Tech. That would probably be the number one. Because BYU winning that game effectively ends any chance for Miami, obviously. It also, if Alabama ends up beating Georgia and solidifies their spot too, maybe that hurts a team like Notre Dame a little bit too, or do you think Notre Dame is just pretty much they're good? What would it take for Notre Dame to be out at this point?
Well, I mean, we kind of mentioned it at the start, Alabama winning and BYU winning probably does eliminate them.
Well, yeah. See, this is where it gets back to the whole thing of teams that don't have to play in a conference championship. A lot of times it actually helps them.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure.
So it's because Oklahoma is sitting in the 8 right now. They don't have to play in the conference championship. They're probably safe.
Yeah.
Texas A&M.
They're in. Yeah.
Right. So Texas. So, okay. So that means the top 8 are in. And then so Alabama, Notre Dame. So if Alabama wins, they're obviously in. Georgia would still be in.
Yes.
And then the last 2 are reserved for the conference championship. So honestly, I think Alabama's in regard. Well,
I don't.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no. So I was going to say Notre Dame. So I think Notre Dame's probably at this rate, unless the committee decides to totally change their mind and how they've been thinking, which I don't know why they would, because it's not like Miami's going to be able to go out and put up a dominant performance in the ACC title game. No, they're just based on how they've been playing it. They're already settled. So I think Notre Dame's in. So really, it's Alabama is the only team right now that currently has a spot in the top 10 that is in danger of falling out.
Probably right. Yeah. And then, looking at other teams, Texas thinks they have a chance, but they lost 3 games, so they don't have a chance. Right.
I don't get that. I don't get why people even trying to make that argument.
Yeah. No, I mean, they beat an undefeated team, but gosh, Texas A&M is just not all that good. Right. They beat Texas A&M, but I think we found that Texas A&M may be a little fraudulent, and Texas has 3 losses. You can't lose 3 games. Yeah. You lose 3 games, you're pretty much eliminated.
Yeah. Texas lost to Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. Who fired their coach.
Right.
And then you got that. You got that situation with the college football playoff. Ole Miss, new coach, Tulane's coach is leaving, but still allowed to coach. BYU's coach is getting poached like crazy. So and it just goes, and all sports media has talked about all week so far has been the college football drama that's went on. But there's a mess with the college football schedule.
Yeah. And that's something that I didn't even put in the show catalog, but the Lane Kiffin thing, just all the coaching moves in college football, it's the most insane thing to me that right on the cusp of the biggest games of the season, coaches can just up and leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like that.
Just leave. Yeah. It is.
And we're just so used to it now. We're just that's the business. Where it's Lane Kiffin is the head coach of the 6th ranked team in college football, a team that believes that they can make the title game. They're good enough, right? And then their head coach just leaves, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the record,
And everyone's like, okay, cool. That's a thing that is allowed.
For the record, I would have let him coach. I would have let him coach in the playoff. If you're Ole Miss, you don't get this opportunity a whole lot. It's literally your best season you've had. So if they think that him staying around and coaching is going to do anything more or less as far as taking, like, he's already taken some of his players. It wouldn't matter if he's coaching these next couple weeks or not. He's still going to take the players he wants. If they want to go there, they're going to go there. And so I would have let him coach, but that's just me. And Tulane is going to let their guy coach, which I think is a great choice. But if you're Ole Miss, like, you may not ever see this opportunity again. And now you've got a completely different offensive staff.
Yeah, it's such a joke. It's such a joke. And then like, imagine if this was the case in any other sport. Like, it's like you take the NFL and who's a good young coach in the NFL right now? That
you get like
young up and coming
the Seahawks guy.
Yeah. Or yeah, so like last year, imagine if like Dan Campbell, is leading the Lions to the top seed in the NFC, and then about week 17 or so, the Dallas Cowboys offer him the job, and then he just becomes the Dallas Cowboys head coach in week 17 of the NFL season.
Yeah, no, it's
like that's
silly.
that's essentially what and we would be like, that's the most insane thing ever. But in college football, it's great.
Yeah.
Or we don't even see it in college basketball too. Like college basketball, imagine this: you get who's the UConn head coach?
Yeah, Dan Hurley.
Dan Hurley. Dan Hurley, you're leading the undefeated UConn Huskies. But hold on a minute, Kentucky, right before the SEC championship, wants Dan Hurley, the highest paid college basketball coach in the history of the sport, and then just before the SEC tournament, Dan Hurley goes to coach Kentucky.
Yeah, it is pretty wild. I mean, you start hearing it during the NCAA tournament for basketball coaches, but they don't officially go until the season's over, which
makes sense.
It's so crazy, though, because the college football schedule ends and then it's finals and it's end of the semester. So, like, I get that portion where, like, guys want to transfer now and start at their new school in January. Yeah. But there's just got to be some kind of solution that helps this. But I guess not. But it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
All right. So now we go from college football to the NFL. I got no words, man. This NFL season is stupid AF. If you don't know what that means, Google it. But I Rodney am officially done trying to make heads or tails about what this season is. I told you guys on, it was Saturday or Sunday, I said there's one great team in the NFL. It's the LA Rams. That's the only team that I know without a shadow of a doubt. That's a good team that I could see winning a Super Bowl. They then lost to the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
The Carolina Panthers, who, by the way, are 7-6 and a half game out of first place.
Yeah.
So, like, that was it. But we're sitting here. We're 13 weeks into the NFL season. The top teams right now are the New England Patriots, who were a bottom 6 team in the league last year.
Correct.
Denver Broncos, who were 10-2. A playoff team last year, but I don't think anyone expected the Broncos to be leading the division. And the Chicago Bears, who I predicted to be in last place, and you also predicted to be in last place, and who were a 5-win team last year.
Yeah. And just lost in some of the most stupid ways ever.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the other side, you have the Buffalo Bills, who are the 7 seed, barely clinging on to a playoff spot. The Kansas City Chiefs are out of the playoffs. Pittsburgh Steelers out. Houston Texans out. The Detroit Lions out. When do you want to start? When do you want to start, man? Because 13 weeks in, we got 5 games left, right? 5 games left, and I just I don't have answers.
Well, there's still a scenario that Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen, and even Joe Burrow all missed the playoffs. Does Josh Allen get in? Yeah, probably. Even Lamar Jackson, because the division's fairly weak, probably gets in. Patrick Mahomes, I don't see it. Like, they have to win their last 5, and I don't think that's happening. Joe Burrow, 2 guys, struggle. I mean, Burrow's the least surprising here. But if you were to tell me Mahomes, Jackson, and Allen could potentially miss the playoffs, I would have told you were crazy. So that in itself is stupid AF. But I think the Bears, like, how legitimate are they? I mean, like,
Rodney, I'm gonna share a stat that I told you today.
Yeah.
Shared in our group chat, but I can't get over this. So, and I know we have Bears fans listening.
Oh yeah.
So the Chicago Bears, as it stands right now, are the 1 seed. By the way, if they lose to Green Bay on Sunday, they would fall to the 7 seed. But right now they're the 1 seed. As of today, they would be the first 1 seed in NFL history to have a quarterback with the league's worst completion percentage. Caleb Williams, among all qualified quarterbacks, is last in the league in completion percentage. Okay, so that's one. So go ahead, I'll let you marinate on that, but I'll also tell you the part 2. There's been one team, 1 seed in NFL history that has been bottom 5 in completion percentage. One seed in all the NFL that has had a QB in the bottom 5 in completion percentage. That team was the 2006 Chicago Bears with Rex Grossman at quarterback.
Welcome back, Rex.
Welcome back, Rex. The good news for Bears fans is that team went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they did.
The not so good news is I do not think you wanted Caleb Williams and Rex Grossman in the same sentence or in the same company right now. But in a lot of ways, the Chicago Bears, in addition to taking advantage of a weak schedule, have won a lot of these games by a defense that has caused a lot of turnovers, that has been able to capitalize on big plays like this and getting very, very average to below average offense.
Yeah, but they're running the ball really damn well right now.
Yes, they're running the ball. So the passing game has been bad, but yes, they're running the ball excellent. They ran all over the Eagles. Yes,
just absolutely pounded on the Eagles. Both running backs, kind of reminiscent of Ben Johnson's Lions, where he had Swift and Gibbs and Montgomery. I mean, yes, Swift and Monangai have been good, and I guess the thing I'll say to defend Caleb a little bit here is, yes, he's throwing incompletions, but he's not turning it over. He's not turning it over, which is a massive big deal there. Like, you're incomplete and turning it over, you're screwed. He's not turning it over. Now, they got the Packers twice here in the next couple weeks. So they're probably going to beat the Browns in between there. But, like, now you're running up against a Green Bay team that was, okay, so we started on Green Bay. Oh, pretty good. And then we're like, not real sure about Green Bay. And now we're like, pretty good again. Mm-hmm. So I think those, but how many tests are we going to have on the Bears? Like, oh, the Eagles, big test on Black Friday.
Right. So, and you're absolutely right. So Steelers were like, that's a test. Steelers were leading the division. Well, then suddenly it's like, okay, it's Mason Rudolph Steelers. Like, not as scary. Then they get the Eagles. That's a big test. Oh, but you're getting the Eagles during one of those times where the Eagles are just a dysfunctional mess. And it's just, they haven't been playing good in a month. Like, everything is lining up so well for the Bears in a way that was totally opposite last year, where it just like they lost a game on a last second Hail Mary. Right. And that led to a 9-game loser or whatever it was, right? Like, all of the bad luck last year is being overcorrected to where they're getting every single break possible. Yeah. And what's crazy too is that this is a 9-3 team, and one of those losses was to JJ McCarthy and the Vikings in week 1, where the Vikings were awful for 3 quarters and then had an insane 4th quarter comeback.
Yeah, now they're running up against a Packers team where you don't see any advanced luck, right? Like, now something might happen between now and Sunday or during the game that's the sign. But like, the Packers are playing pretty well. The Packers are mostly healthy. I mean, Josh Jacobs has been banged up, but like at week 14, everybody's banged up, right? I know Tucker Kraft's out, but Tucker Kraft's been out a while. In fact, the Packers are getting Jaden Reed and Matthew Golden back, whether this week or soon. Like they're coming back into the mix. So Green Bay's surging a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see. That's suddenly the biggest game of the week, probably. Maybe Kansas City, Houston, but Chicago, Green Bay is a big game.
I mean, Kansas City, Houston is huge because that's a 7-5 Texans team against a 6-6 Chiefs team, where it really feels like the loser of that game. It feels, especially for the Chiefs. Like if the Chiefs lose that game, it's done.
Yes. I think the Chiefs have to win out. I don't know as if the Chiefs have any path to a playoff besides winning out, because they're already going to lose tiebreakers to multiple teams, including Jacksonville, including Houston if they lose this game.
What they would need is just the AFC South to just totally collapse on itself. Like that division went from the Colts running away with it to now there's 3 teams that could all be in the playoffs for that.
Right. And but I could also see a scenario where Indianapolis finishes the season at 8-9.
And Rodney, so that brings me to the next topic here. So I've been looking at these NFL standings, and I'm starting to, even though I just said about 10 minutes ago that I'm done trying to predict this season, I'm done trying to make sense of it. That doesn't stop me from, with 5 weeks to go, giving you some takes that I think are some rational, others might be a little far-fetched. So I want you to tell me what feels like a good hot take and what just feels like it's just like it too hot. Okay. So hot or too hot here. And we'll start with the Colts because you mentioned it. I could very well see a scenario where the Indianapolis Colts, who at one point were the top seed in the AFC, one point we're talking about them as the best team in football, I could see the Colts missing the playoffs altogether.
I'm okay with that hot take. It's the Jaguars, the Seahawks, the 49ers, the Jaguars, and the Texans. All games where you're just not like, oh yeah, they'll definitely win that one. Oh yeah, they'll definitely win that one. So yeah, five games that I have questions on. I still don't know how much I love the Jacksonville Jaguars, but they keep finding ways to win. So I am okay with that hot take.
So the Jaguars, so for reference, the Jaguars, obviously they'll have the Colts twice. Yeah. But they have the Jets. They're at Denver, but then they host the Titans.
Yeah.
So a little bit like Jets and Titans is a nice break for Jacksonville there. And then you get Houston, who after the Kansas City game, they got the Cardinals at home, they got the Raiders at home, they're at the Chargers, and then hosting the Colts. So that's also a pretty favorable schedule. 3 of their last 4 down at home down the stretch.
So the Jaguars and the Texans are getting the schedule that the Colts started with.
Yeah. I think so. Well, I mean the Colts got the Broncos early.
Yeah.
Beat them. They got the Rams, they lost to the Rams. But yeah, like they got the Raiders, they got the Cardinals, they had the Dolphins, they had the Titans early, they had the Falcons. So yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
So I think the goal, especially with like the Daniel Jones fractured fibula, which I don't even know how you could play with that. I guess, but I'm built different, I guess.
Yeah.
In a bad way.
Yeah, I don't know how much I'd be playing with a fractured fibula, but you be you, Daniel.
Yeah. All right. Hot take number 2. I think there's a really, really strong possibility that the Dallas Cowboys could end up messing around and winning the NFC East.
Yeah, no, I'm with you here, and I'm not going to go full out bragging here, but I've been kind of on Dallas, kind of surging here for a couple weeks. I mean,
yeah,
I did pick them to beat Philadelphia was it last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. And like, I just see honestly, Dak Prescott's playing tremendous football. Like he's playing really well. Yeah. He's got 2 legitimate targets. They're running the ball. And as
Mhm.
much as we wanted to bash on Jerry Jones, like their defense is significantly better.
Well, they
They've
made
added,
they made
yeah,
moves. They
yeah,
made moves during the season, and Quinnen Williams, one of the best interior tackles on the defensive line, like between him and Kenny Clark. Like, yeah, like they've turned things around, and coming out of the bye week, because they lost that game to the Cardinals. That's where, like, okay, guys, this is bad. But coming out of the bye week, they smoked the Raiders.
yeah,
They come back to beat the Eagles. They beat the Chiefs. Um,
yeah. In
but
four
like,
days, they beat the
yeah,
Eagles and Chiefs in 4 days.
right. So, and now you look at the Cowboys here. So where, okay, they're at the Lions, but I don't think anyone here is saying, oh, at the Lions, that's a loss. Like, Detroit's not playing well.
No, that
No, they got,
that's a, that's another elimination game. To be quite honest with you,
yeah, yeah,
the loser of that game, I think, is pretty much done, and that includes Detroit because you
yeah,
can't. What are they, 7-5? You cannot fall to
yeah.
7-6 in the NFC and think you're going to get
No,
in, and then
no,
that would be loss number 6 for Dallas too. So that's
no,
an elimination game to me.
not when two teams in your division are going to finish ahead of you. Not when you have the whole NFC West that is play. It's like, yeah, that's it. That's it for
Yeah,
either team. That's a great point. But like, let's say Dallas pulls off the upset in that game. They're only 3-point dog on the road.
yeah.
Uh, they host the Vikings. They host the Chargers. Then
With
it's
Justin
Commanders.
Herbert banged up.
Yeah, then it's at Commanders, at Giants to close the year.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
so
Commanders.
Dallas. Could you see a scenario where Dallas finishes the year 4-1? And then on the other side, the Eagles, they are Monday night at the Chargers this Monday,
Yeah.
host the Raiders. That should be a win. They got 2 games against the Commanders, and then they're at Buffalo. So I just want to point out, so if the Eagles finish the season 2-3, let's say they split with Washington, they beat the Raiders, but then they lose at Buffalo and at the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
That puts them at 10-6. If the Cowboys go 4-1 for the rest of the season, they are, or sorry. The Eagles would be 10-7.
10-7, yeah.
So the Eagles would be 10-7. If the Cowboys go 4-1, they're 10-6-1. They win the division.
That tie. And honestly, as much as I talk about the Eagles, like I could see this happening. Yeah, because we've seen the Eagles collapse. And then I bring up the point is if the, and I know they won the Super Bowl, but if the Eagles collapse the second time in 3 years, I do think you see Howie say, okay, Nick, you're out of here. Like we're moving on.
It's funny. I said that 2 years ago. I was convinced that Sirianni was gone, and you're like, no way. And you were right. And now you're like even if they collapse, like I think it's likelier that they like trade AJ Brown. Maybe they sort of create a little bit of a different vibe in the locker room, because I feel like there's a vibe happening in the locker room right now that is just not happening. It's not it. But yeah, I could see a scenario where Philly just totally melts down and Dallas ends up winning that division, which would be insane considering how we were talking about the Cowboys through the first 6 weeks of the year.
Yeah, so for me, Philadelphia, and I know it's easier said than done, but they've got to get the run game going. They absolutely have to get the run game going. And I know you're loving seeing Saquon not getting the job done. Not that you hate Saquon, but obviously that deal was.
I feel nothing about Saquon, and actually, I was looking a lot at Saquon's numbers this year. So you know that Saquon is at 740 rushing yards this year, right? Which means that he has to average about 50-something yards a game from here on out to even make it to 1,000 rushing yards. He's at, Saquon Barkley this year has had one game where he's rushed for more than 88 yards.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, it's been bad. Like he's going to have a 1,000-yard drop off from where he was at last year. Like all his production is cut straight in half.
And be relatively healthy, right? Like,
yeah. Oh no, it's not like he only played in 11 games. Like no, he'd be playing the full 16 games. And like looking at other 2,000-yard rushers in the past, a lot of them did have drop-offs of 400, 500 yards, which makes sense, but there would be no drop-offs quite like that, where to be healthy the following year, to go from 2,000 to barely 1,000 would be wild.
They got to get him going. It's an obvious statement, but I feel like they've kind of caved to AJ Brown and his demands a little bit more. It's like, oh, he's mad. We better make him happy. It's like,
I think he's absolutely on the trade block once the season's done.
Oh yeah, for sure. But no, those are both interesting scenarios. Do you have hot take number 3?
I do, and maybe this one is just holding out hope from my preseason predictions every year, but maybe the Cincinnati Bengals aren't dead yet in the AFC North. Yeah. All right, Rodney. I'm going to tell you something. The Steelers are cooked. They're done.
Yeah.
Awful. Lamar Jackson hasn't been playing particularly well for the Ravens. Not and the Ravens, after winning a few games in a row, like they are kind of hitting a wall. Evident by getting blasted by the Bengals in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my only issue, and I know you'll have more to explain here. My only issue is Cincinnati's got to go to Buffalo this week.
Yeah, no, they got to go to They got to go to Buffalo. But guess what? They had to go to Baltimore.
Yeah, 4-8 going to Buffalo, like Buffalo, Ravens, Dolphins, Cardinals, Browns. Right. So two more massive games, and then 3 winnable games.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Here's counterpoint. Joe Burrow's played 3 games for them. They've won all 3 of them.
Yeah.
They're undefeated with Joe Burrow. So okay, so even if they lost to Buffalo, they end the year hosting Baltimore, then they go at the Dolphins, then they host the Cardinals, then they host the Browns.
Yeah, but 8-9's not going to the playoffs.
It might.
No.
It might.
Ravens are gonna at least get 9 wins, right? Like,
are they? So Ravens host the Steelers, then they're at the Bengals, then they host the Patriots. Patriots are the 1 seed in the league right now. Then they're at the Packers, and then they're at the Steelers again. Yeah. So you're saying, Rodney, let's say the Bengals go 4-1. They own the tiebreaker against Baltimore by beating them twice, right? And then Baltimore ends up going 2-3 because they split with the Steelers. I don't even know if they go 2-3. Maybe they beat the Steelers. Even if they if they beat the Steelers in both, they'll pretty much knock the Steelers out of it.
Yeah.
But then they lose to the Bengals, to the Patriots, to the Packers. They would be 8-9. Both teams would be 8-9, but the Bengals would have the tiebreaker because of the head-to-head.
I mean, that's a scenario that could happen. And let me throw one even crazier thing out there. So the Steelers, who are 6-6, and yes, we called them cooked, and they lose both to the Ravens, but they have the Dolphins and the Browns. So what if they grab 2 wins there and 3 teams finish 8-9? I don't even know what happens in tiebreaker scenarios at that point, but
yeah, I don't know because they split with the Bengals.
Yeah,
they
would lose both. They would lose both to the Ravens. I don't know. That's for the nerds to figure out.
I think would it be divisional record because the Bengals would have that because the Bengals they'd be undefeated against Cleveland. They'd be undefeated against Baltimore. They'd be 5-1 in the AFC North.
Yeah, so your Bengals would get in.
Yeah, see, just like that, 8-9. And I'll tell you what, Rodney. I'll tell you what. Even if they're 8-9, if Joe Burrow is healthy, and this is a postseason that doesn't include Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. Are you going to sit here and tell me that you're not at least somewhat intrigued by the Bengals making a run here in an AFC where they might have to go through potentially Bo Nix and Trevor Lawrence and Drake May in the AFC?
Yeah, Justin Herbert as well. But yeah, no, I don't.
But no,
None of those.
like as a wild, but no, Chargers would be a wild card, and the Bengals would have they
No,
at least
because
be home in wild card weekend as a division champ.
yeah, they could be 4-5. Bengals Chargers could play in that 4-5 game. Bengals would
Yeah.
host.
Yeah.
But yeah, or Daniel Jones, and so yeah, no, Cincinnati would have her, but yeah, and then second round, okay, you have to play the 1 seed. Oh, the 1 seed is Drake May and the Patriots.
Right.
You're probably taking Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I'll take Joe Burrow. I'll take Joe Burrow in that game, and then
the
you're facing
Bo Nix.
Bo Nix, maybe it's Jacksonville, or maybe it is Buffalo. But guess what? It would be you hosting them. You don't got to go to Buffalo. You don't got to go to Orchard Park, play in the snow. They got to come to your building.
I don't know about that. I don't know. You love
the fact
Bengals.
that they're 4-8, and we can actually have a conversation about it, though. That's why this season is stupid AF. This is why.
You're right.
Yeah. The only hot take I couldn't convince myself in, and ironically, it's one that probably is technically closest to being true, is the Carolina Panthers winning the division. But they got the 2 games against the Bucks. They gotta play Seattle. Like, I don't know. It could, but
Carolina's pretty Jekyll and Hyde. Like another kind of pat on the back. Like I went on Fantasy Focus and told Skeeter the Panthers would beat the Rams straight up. It happened. But like I mostly because I still have this like West Coast going east thing for a noon start, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't believe in it. He's like, oh no, it's Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams. His hot take was Devontae Adams or Matthew Stafford would have 5 passing touchdowns. I got nervous after like 6 minutes when he had 2. And he's like, my favorite play of all time is Devontae Adams. I got nervous when he scored the first touchdown at 8 seconds into the game. I'm like, oh, God, he's going to score 5 touchdowns on his own. But the Carolina ended up coming back and winning that one. But, Carolina, it's still got to be Tampa, right? And Baker Mayfield's beat up, but Carolina, although they got a bye week and they got the Saints coming out of the bye week. So, like, they're at least going to probably be relevant heading into week 16 in that Buccaneers game. And that's fun for them. And okay, so Carolina doesn't make the playoffs this year. But, like, if you're a Panthers fan, you got to be like, all right, this is all right.
Yeah. And especially because, like, you can't be like, oh, they've had such an easy schedule. Like, Carolina's schedule has been surprisingly harder than most of the teams that are ahead of them in the postseason.
Yeah.
Like in terms of strength of schedule and all that stuff, like it is like I was just looking. So Carolina's strength of schedule this year, despite being a last place or close to last place team, is 513. For reference, the Bears' strength of schedule is 376.
376, 37%.
Yeah. So it tells you something there. So just saying. But I still can't quite convince myself. I wish I could, but I'm starting to get convinced that the Colts are. I think of all those, I'm the most convinced that the Colts miss the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I can certainly see it. And Daniel Jones is hurt and then turns into a complete pumpkin. That's not a surprise.
No. And I mean, like, everyone forgets the one good year that he had with the Giants where they went to the playoffs. That was a team that started the year, I think they were 7-1.
Yeah.
And they ended 9-7-1. Like they kind of lost a lot of steam down the stretch, but then they won a playoff game and then they got crushed, and that was the end of that. But all right, we went quite a bit long there, so we have 2 weeks of best bets for betting to get to, because the last time we did a show was 2 weeks ago. We had best bets for betting. We didn't get the results of those because we were off last week. However, Rodney put out our best bets for betting for Thanksgiving the whole weekend, and we're going to go through those as well. So I'm a little hesitant to do it, but in the spirit, I know you're excited. All right, so this is from 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, where Rodney UNLV football covered easily, crushed Hawaii.
Yeah, Yeah, the Rebels got it done in that one. The boys from Vegas took care of that one. Yes. 1-0 for me.
Yep. I went with a little NBA Cup action. The Timberwolves, I like them at the Suns. The Suns beat them straight up. Tough loss there. Yeah, this was close, though, because this was a 3-point win for Dallas.
Yeah. Yeah, as good as my 2 weeks were, this one was a half-point kind of frustrating loss there. Cooper Flag is playing better here the last week or so. Yeah. So that's good to see for the NBA. But yes, that one lost. So I moved to 1-1.
Yep. I started 0-2 because USC. I thought they were going to hang, but got beat by a couple scores, and that ended any talk of USC being in the college football playoff, sadly. So,
yeah,
big losers there.
Saturday got the Sarkeesian and the Longhorns beat the Razorbacks. Arkansas was terrible this year, but I was able to get this one done and moved to 2-1 on the week with an 8.5-point spread.
Yep, and shout out to Illinois football. This was supposed to be the year. They were top 10 in the nation at one point, and they not only failed to cover, but they got housed by a Wisconsin team that is one of the worst Wisconsin teams that I've seen in quite some time. So, Brett Bielema, not quite the revenge game he was hoping for. I think it was Wisconsin getting their revenge. So that awful, brutal game for Illinois. Brutal.
Moved to 3-1 with the Packers beating up on the Vikings in the NFC North battle. Yeah, just it's basically I'm going against J.J. McCarthy, and now Max Brosmer is the quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, no, thank you. Minnesota we want to talk about teams that were bad and then became good. That's a team that was good that become horrendous this year. This is the Vikings that you predicted at the start of last year.
Yes, this is what I expected last year to be.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
You're so right on that. This is the Vikings I expected, where we're just like their quarterback situation's a mess.
Yeah.
We're low on time a little bit, but like, is Justin Jefferson going to be a Minnesota Viking for let's do this in 2027? Justin Jefferson is in Minnesota, yay or nay?
No.
That sucks, man.
Yeah.
All right. I too lost the half point here. The Ravens, big favorites against the Jets. They won by 13. Couldn't just win by 14. Couldn't do it. The Jets were too much for them. Awful week.
Yeah.
I needed the vacation.
I finished 4-1 with the Cowboys, and I famously said the Cowboys. I think I even said we'll take them at 3.5 and could potentially sprinkle a little money line on this one. It happened. Cowboys beat the Eagles. So 4-1 2 weeks ago. And
what saved me from a godforsaken 0-5 best bet for betting was the 49ers. It was between this and the Rams Bucks, and I was dangerously close to taking the Bucks. I would have got crushed in that one. But the 49ers were able to salvage the win and the cover at home against the Carolina Panthers. So
4-1 for me, 1-4 for you. Let's go to this last week, basically Thanksgiving weekend. My Kansas Jayhawks football, they lost by 10. I'll take it. 5-1 during the break.
So that's football, right? That's Kansas football, because I feel like Kansas Jayhawks being a 10.5 point underdog against Utah in basketball. I was like, something has gone terribly wrong for that program.
It was definitely football.
All right. Well, the Chicago Bears, this was a team that I like to cover, and I was kind of thinking they were going to win straight up, and they did. But Bears touchdown favorite, and that was a good start to the Thanksgiving weekend for me.
So you teased me about Kansas and the Blues. Well, they both got it done. St. Louis Blues, one of their very few rare wins, as your Ducks chased Jordan Bennington last night. But I started this week 2-0, which means I'm 6-1 during the break.
It's on a roll. It's on fire. I'm going to stop betting Illinois because neutral site game, I thought Illinois could hang, and it was close. Actually had a little bit of a run, but UConn pulled away late and won the game, I think, by like 12 or 13 points.
Yeah.
So,
by the way, UConn basketball is ahead of Kansas by 6 with about 6 minutes to go in the game right now. So that's on TV, by the way. I will continue 3-0 this last week with Louisville over Kentucky football. Kentucky football was terrible. So 3-0 on the week. That puts me at 7-1 during the break.
Yep. I apparently missed the memo that Texas A&M wasn't very good because they lost to Texas as a favorite, a 3-loss Texas team. So, yeah, best bets for betting did not go super well for me.
Yeah, so then my loss for this last week goes to the Washington Huskies. I thought this would be more of a competitive game. It was not terrible. It was 26-14 was the final score. It was 13-7 at halftime. It was 19-7 after 3. Washington got it to 19-14, but then Oregon scored with 7:55 left and won the game by 12. So I went to 3-1 on the week, which means 7-2 during the break, with one more coming up.
The game. I mean, the game has to be close, right? No, apparently it doesn't have to. Ohio State, really good. Ohio State's gonna go back to back, right? Like that's
yes.
I feel pretty good about that. Yeah.
My last one was the Chargers beating the Raiders. Just pick on bad teams. Pete Carroll, his team, terrible. Raiders. Skeeter says the Raiders are the worst team in the NFL. Friday, let's get to my power rankings that I put out today. We typically do that on Tuesday, but we can get to that on Friday because I do have some questions. But I won this one 4-1 on the week, 8-2 during the break. Beat that, Tim.
I can't, but I did end with a win. The Texans as a 3.5-point dog, beating the Colts straight up. I love when the underdogs I pick win straight up, and those between that and the Bears, that was the saving grace there. So all that to say, Rodney, you have surged. And thanks to a couple masterful performances, you now have a 1-game lead over me in best bets for betting. It feels like in a lot of ways order has been restored.
Yeah, I was thinking
it didn't feel right.
Words.
It did
life is bad. Life is real again. It didn't feel right. Substack actually went like 2 units under in November, but still like 60 ahead for the year. But it had a losing November.
By the way, that's the QR code up there. You can scan that. It takes you to said Substack that normally wins. I don't know why Rodney decided to lead with the losses there, but normally wins. It's up many units on the year. Many units.
All right, let's get to our Mount Rushmore 13. Why don't we?
Let's do it. The Mount Rushmore of number 13s in sports. Because it is episode 113, and this Mount Rushmore thing isn't something that we started doing until like show 30 or something like that. All right, couple right off the bat. So there's one huge one in baseball. He wore it for 12 seasons, so it wasn't his entire career, but 12 seasons all with the New York Yankees at third base. The controversial, not a Hall of Famer, but probably should be, Alex Rodriguez. Alex Rodriguez it's. At least for me, that's who comes to mind of athletes to wear number 13.
Yeah, no, I'm good with that one being on our Rushmore. A-Rod is should be a Hall of
Famer. NFL, couple pretty good names here that I think you will appreciate. So, top guy's Dan Marino.
Yep, good choice.
I think best quarterback to never win a Super Bowl. I think still has that title. And then from your St. Louis Rams, Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner does a good job with media now. He's a good analyst. Yeah, he's good. He's not over the top. He's informative. He does a good job. So I mean, A-Rod, Marino, and Warner were off to a good start. And I mean, I don't know what we're getting with the National Hockey League, but I'm pretty sure Wilt Chamberlain wore 13.
So, I was going to mention a couple other NBA guys, NFL guys, in addition to those two. A few receivers that you might like here in the names of Mike Evans.
Yeah, good
who I think will eventually be a Hall of Famer. Keenan Allen, T.Y. Hilton, Michael Thomas. How about Odell Beckham Jr., number 13, with my New York Football Giants? That's
Good
a good football number there. But yeah, Dan Marino and Kurt Warner, I think, are two very, very good good options there. But yes, in the NBA, you would be correct in Wilt Chamberlain being number 13. I feel like
Yeah.
Wilt still has to be a strong consideration for the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, so I'm strong consideration. He's got to be a lock, but yeah. So our four are pretty much locked in there. But you got the original, not the original, but PG-13 is one people always remember. Paul George, Steve Nash, I believe was 13, right?
Steve Nash was number 13. Love Steve Nash. Yeah, Steve Nash was 13. James Harden was 13. I don't think he's not wearing it with the Clippers. But he was 13 like all those years in Houston. Like that was his primary number.
Yeah. I was looking at some other current players. Bam Adebayo wears 13. Yep. The pride of Normal University High School, Keita Bates Diop wears 13.
I thought that he was gonna be a solid NBA player for a long time. And I guess he was. Like, he was 6 years in the NBA. It's not terrible.
Yeah, he wore it for 1 year. So, but just looking at current guys, Evan Fournier wore 13.
Punchable face. Maybe the most punchable face in the sport.
Kevin Herter currently wears 13. Jaren Jackson Jr. from the Grizz.
He's a good player. Yeah,
good player. Yeah, good player. But no, I think our Mount Rushmore is set. Kurt Warner, Dan Marino, A-Rod, Chamberlain.
So that leaves off Steve Nash. That leaves off Harden. That leaves off a few receivers. We haven't even got to hockey, and I'm praying that we did not leave an obvious hockey guy off. Oh, God, we might have. Pavel Datsyuk was number 13.
Good player, but not good enough. I mean, who are you going to
replace? Johnny Gaudreau, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it would be one of the NFL guys. It would probably be Kurt Warner if we did our one guy from each sport.
It would be Kurt Warner.
But I don't want to do that to you. I don't want to do that to you, man. Because Kurt Warner's probably one of the main reasons that you even care about football still. Am I wrong?
I mean, the greatest show was fun. All right, the Rams teams were fun. Yeah. Yeah. So I think our list is good. Sorry, hockey. Sometimes you just get left out.
All right. So Pavel Datsyuk is on the outside. Steve Nash is on the outside. James Harden, Odell Beckham, all those. So the final list. So it's Alex Rodriguez. It's Dan Marino. It's Kurt Warner. It's Wilt Chamberlain.
Bingo.
It's a good Rushmore. It's a really good Rushmore. It's good, and I hope Dan doesn't listen to this.
Yeah, he's gonna be ticked off.
He's gonna be upset that we left off Pavel Datsyuk and Johnny Gaudreau. Just for
rest in peace, Johnny.
Yeah, rest in peace. All right, let's get out of here. This is it's a little after 10 o'clock. I'm tired. You're tired. Kansas, what's the update? What's up?
Yeah, 55-54 UConn with 2.5 minutes to go. So good one in Fog Allen. Yep. Two good teams. UConn 6-1 and Kansas 6-2. Good.
You'll be happy to know, by the way, that I did Tim curse the Bradley Braves. They were down by 3 points with a minute and a half left right before we went live, and I said Bradley's done. They're going to lose. They then proceeded to score 7 straight points, and they won the game 64-60. So
that's a good win. I mean, Washington State's not a great team, but it's a power program, and that's a good win.
Technically, yeah, I think Bradley was a 5.5 point favorite, so they didn't cover. But hey, I'd rather win than lose.
Yeah, it's not a Pac-12. It's not a Pac-12 team because there is no Pac-12 anymore. They're in the West Coast now or whatever. But that's still, I give Washington State credit for coming to Central Illinois in December. Mm-hmm. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Braving the elements, man. It's tough. All right. We'll be back Friday morning, 8 a.m. to talk lots of college football, I'm sure. Rodney will give his updated power rankings after he's had some time to digest. Maybe he's made some changes after talking NFL tonight. But lots to get to on Friday. Thanks to everyone who chimed in. Had 200 people check in during the live stream, so appreciate everyone for doing that. Reminder, by the way, the QR code up top right there, that is Rodney's Substack. Make sure to scan that. Subscribe. You will get free picks sent to your inbox daily. And Rodney's doing a good job of keeping that going. So make sure to subscribe there. And that about does it for the show. So let's get on out of here. He's Rodney Newpel. I'm Tim Killatrav Van Stratton. And this has been another edition of the stupidest sports show on earth. See you guys.
See ya.
Step right up, dummies, and listen to the stupidest sports show on earth with Rodney Newpel and Tim Van Stratton. Yeah.